Kia ora, and welcome to this webinar on Viticulture Careers. Today we're going to be looking at summer tasks in the vineyard. My name is Jimmy Crocker and I work for the Primary ITO as a sector advisor for wine growing. So why do we maintain the canopy? The purpose of canopy maintenance in the vineyard is to help with appropriate shoot positioning and spacing of the shoots as they develop. We want to help the vines to grow vertically and to ease disease pressure by allowing more airflow through the canopy. We also want to increase the sun exposure on the fruit for ripening, and this helps with the flavor characteristics of the finished wine. Grapevine canopies develop over the summer, and there are a number of tasks that happen each growing season to help with the canopy maintenance. We start with bud rubbing in October and November, and then through to shoot thinning, wire lifting, leaf plucking, and fruit thinning. Then we get into harvest, and in the winter we do pruning, and it starts all over again. So what is bud rubbing? Bud rubbing is when we remove the shoots or buds that are developing at the bottom of the trunk, typically around the graft union. You can see in this image that this vine has some shoots developing out the bottom of the trunk. We want to remove these as they are susceptible to herbicide sprays when we apply them and can damage or kill the vines. So we do this, as you can see in this image, by rubbing the vine up and down the trunk and removing any growth down below the heads of the vine. And here's an image that shows after bud rubbing has been carried out, there is no growth down in this part of the vine. Shoot thinning is when we remove selected shoots from the canopy to increase the airflow. It can be done in the head of the vine or along the canes that have been wrapped down during the winter pruning. Here are some examples of different shoot thinning that you might be required to do. You may be required to remove shoots that are growing on the underside of the canes and not producing upwards, like this one. You may be required to shoot thin the heads and reduce the density in this area as it is quite prone to disease pressure. So you're removing these two shoots here that are facing away and into the middle of the vine and just leaving the ones that are shooting out. You may also be required to remove doubles. This is where two shoots have produced from the same bud, like in here, and we remove the smaller shoot and just leave the stronger one there. And here you can see what the vine would look like after it has had these different versions of shoot thinning happen to it. Wire lifting happens a number of times during the summer. Sometimes up to 3 passes are required as the shoots develop. You can see in this image the vineyard is ready for its first wire lift as some of these shoots up here are starting to grow out into the middle of the row. So what we do is we come along and lift the wires from underneath here and scoop up and collect these shoots and then tuck them in and keep them upright. And you can see here that once the wire lift has happened, this row is much more uniform. And this helps with the airflow through the canopy and also helps to get more sun exposure onto the fruit. Leaf plucking is when we remove the leaves around the fruiting zone of a vine. You can see here in this image on the left that the canopy is quite dense and there is a lot of leaf shading the fruit. Whereas after we have carried out a leaf pluck, by stripping away the leaves that are in this zone, you can see the fruit is more exposed. So this helps with airflow through the canopy and also helps with sun exposure that aids the ripening process. Fruit thinning is another job that will happen late in the summer, usually just before harvest. It really only happens on selected sites and in some varieties, most commonly reds. In this instance, it may be done to improve the quality of the grape sample in terms of flavor and color, but it can also be done if there is disease present in the berries. So unripe bunches will want to be removed, and also you may hear the term second set. So these are small green berries in a red variety, or even in Sauvignon Blanc or white varieties that have not developed and have started their fruit set later in the season than the typical fruit in the fruiting zone. Botrytis is also a fungal disease that may need to be removed before harvest. This can spread quickly due to the close proximity of the bunches in the fruiting zone. So, why would you want to work the summer season? What's so great about it? In the summer, the jobs are fast-paced and they change regularly, so you're not doing the same thing months and months on end. It's a great way to keep fit, and you're working outside in the fresh air and the warm weather. It's also really interesting to see the plants develop throughout the growing season, as you may go back to the same vineyard 2 or 3 times. Make sure you are legally allowed to work in New Zealand. Have a copy of your visa and your passport ready when you go to start work. If you're looking for work in the summer season, these websites will be a great place to look for jobs that have been listed. You can work for contractors, or you can work directly for vineyards or for corporate employers as well. Here are some further places that you can look for job listings. So where can you go from here? There are definite pathways to further employment after working the summer season in the vineyard. Companies are always on the lookout for more operators to work the land and also operate the machinery. If you enjoyed the seasonal aspect, perhaps you'd like to stay working in a contracting crew and become a supervisor there and help train the new people that come into the industry. There are numerous opportunities to do a vintage in the winery as a cellar hand. And obviously you can go on to further education with tertiary study. So thank you for your time and thank you for watching this presentation. If you'd like to know more, please visit www.letsgrow.co.nz. Here you'll find job listings in the wine industry,